Boy.
So, here we go.
So,
here we are at Home with the Fishers, starring Nicola and Chris Fisher, RPT.
I'm here.
With Joe Makes in person. This is a first for the podcast.
Yeah,
and this is episode 21.
A live in-house guest. Yes, the very wonderful Joe Kirchmer. And yes, that's how you say the name. Not Kratchmer, Karchmer, or as my phone's been saying, Kitchener.
Kramer, Crochmer, Crossmer.
Yeah, Kramer versus Kramer. It's been doing all that, my phone. So in my phone, I've just got Joe Makes because Siri understands that.
That's what I changed my channel to because no one knew what Kirchmer is other than the Czechs that, drink at pubs.
Yeah. Interesting bit of trivia there for you. Kirchmer is Czech for pub or tavern. So what a great name.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
cheers.
We've got Wayne Bigfoot Woodcraft on.
Hi,
Wayne. So first of all, the reason why this is live at 5 is because Joe has a train to get and we couldn't make it work doing it later. And we did think about pre-recording it, but we decided we may as well just go live. So we've got Heist the Flaming Turner, Dave the Wood Barber.
Hi, Dave.
Wayne the Wood Turner.
Hi, Wayne.
So great to have you here.
Yeah, great to be here. Boy, we're just coming off of a quick project.
Well,
so we've got the adrenaline pumping through our veins.
We're still right up there. We literally stopped and we'd finished
about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we finished the project 5 minutes ago. So it was something that Joe had in mind for a dear friend of his that's getting married. So Joe came up with his parts and he's been turning all weekend.
First time for me.
Yeah, so it's his very first time on a lathe. So he's turned. Well, show them, Joe.
We've got. Well, I guess we can describe what it is because she's probably not listening to it. It's a Johnny Depp inside a Treasure Island kind of epoxy resin world, really, like an
aquatic world,
little island on this beautiful. What kind of wood is this?
Palisander.
Kind of giving it a coconut look underneath, and it's going to hold a shot glass on top, so you can party with the pirates. And
that's really cool.
It's
and what was your dear friend sort of like top of her wish list? What did she want to do? How did this project come about?
She wanted to take a shot off of Johnny Depp's chest as a birthday, if you could have anything, what would it be? Well, I'd like to take a shot off of Johnny Depp on an island. So this is the closest that we can get to with our budgets.
Yeah.
So tell us how you made the stuff inside.
So this palm tree was 3D printed. I did 3 parts on it. One was the trunk of the tree, and then the leaves they're split in half so that they're glued together because you don't want to build it with supports. These leaves hang over 60 degrees and they're difficult to print. So instead of printing all 6 leaves, we just printed 3 and 3. So you can see, those of you watching, that it's cut in half horizontally. And it also gives us the option to print the tree trunk as a darker color and the leaves as a lighter color. And then we also have a treasure chest, and the filament that I used was pink. Why not? And the Johnny Depp doll is a Playmobil.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Lego. Is it
A Lego. Yeah, it's like Lego
Yeah.
brand version of it.
Yeah.
And then I was asking Chris before, should I put sand as the base inside? And you mentioned how it wasn't a good thing.
Well, it would be dulling the tools at a rapid rate. So it would have been doable, but would have had to have been sharpening tools every few minutes. So you came up with an alternative.
We had a whole bunch of used cork, which kind of gives it a rum cork bottle kind of reference in there as well. But the cork really looks nice as this, a kind of island rocky look. And then underneath it was another centimeter of blue resin for the ocean. So it's kind of like the ocean and To be honest, the bubbles inside, I didn't mean for those to happen. The blue part of the ocean didn't have any bubbles. When I poured the island and the cork, that didn't have any bubbles. But because I poured about 4 more centimeters of clear resin with the pirate and 3D printed parts in there, it seemed to get probably a little more hot than normal. And that's what created the bubbles, which gives it this whole underwater kind of feel.
Yeah,
though.
I like the bubbles.
But I didn't know what it would be when, once it was even encased in the resin that we were pouring it in. It looked like just a bunch of mess on the outside, and there was a sandy outside and everything. It didn't look that great, but once we put it on the lathe, Chris showed me how to bring a diamond out of the rough.
Well, that's it. I mean, it came up as sort of like a cast, but it was in the shape of the pot that it was in, and it's sort of like a plastic pot. Did you say it had hummus in? The plastic pot that you've done. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was hummus.
Yeah, it was a hummus pot.
So obviously it was tapered like a plant pot shape. So Joe's done all the work. I've just been there explaining, how to position himself and hold the tool. And so Joe's done all the shaping. He's put the dome on the top, which he wanted. He's done all the work. And the thing is, because we wanted it to be, really, really good, because it's a wedding gift, Joe's sanded and polished the resin up to 12,000.
Is that more than normal?
Well, if you're doing a normal project, you'd probably, just sand wood up to 400 or 600 or less than that if you're using abrasive paste. But with the resin, we wanted it as clear as we could get it, because you wanted to see as much detail. So that's why Joe was sanding and polishing for an hour yesterday.
Well, there's great, but then when I'm with the Blind Woodturner, I want perfection. So I can go to any other woodturner and get, just as good, but I want great. So we've put the hours in. We spent all day yesterday turning and polishing and sanding, taking our time, not overstressing Joe because it was his first time on a lathe. But he's done. We've had no accidents, no catches. We've took our time. Nothing's gone wrong. It's just we've took our time because this was, you only get one shot at this. She gets married in a couple of weeks, right?
So it had to be right. We've had to just be diligent, controlled. I've been trying to teach Joe, and keep him safe, but make sure he's having lots of fun. And we've pulled it off. We pulled it off with 5 minutes. 5 minutes
to spare. I mean, but that was more of the base of this.
That's two pieces of palisander. So yesterday I glued them together because we wanted that chunkiness to the base. And Joe's turned the base. Joe's put the mortise in the bottom so the chuck would hold it. Joe's done all the sanding and polishing, and so I've literally had my hands on the whole project for a minute or two, and it's just
only for me to change some cameras and get you on those glamour shots.
Yeah, I had to get a bit of dust on me and a bit.
Well, Dave the Wood Barber says, "Where is Joe from? I may be wrong, but sounds like Connecticut."
Oh, wrong coast. Right country. I'm from Portland, Oregon, on the West Coast there. I usually have to say West Coast because everyone knows California, but not Portland. So yeah, between Seattle and San Francisco. But I've been living in London for the last 5 years.
So we've got Gracie Braun as well, Christine and Michael Hesseltine.
Hi guys.
So tell everybody a bit about you. Because there'll be some people who have met you at Maker Central, but some people might not know you. So tell us about your career as a maker.
Yeah, definitely. So I graduated from the University of Portland in 2008 in business. And like all sensible business majors, I went to Australia to be a ski instructor. And loved that. Learned about skiing, learned about how to take skis apart and add bindings to them. Was an Eagle Scout, went camping a lot, and I always liked to build. I guess my parents named me Joe for a reason, and Joseph for the carpenter. So I really didn't have a choice. While in college, I did carpentry for the university, and I learned almost as much from them as I did from the business books. And I worked at an outdoor sporting goods store in Portland called Ollie Damon's, and we fixed fishing reels, lanterns, stoves, air guns, tons of outdoor equipment. And I just wanted to keep learning with my hands as well as my mind. And then worked at the University of Texas for a year, taught English in China for a year, volunteered in Peru, and then found out on a trip to Europe that I was an Italian citizen. So I got my Italian passport and came to London on a vacation and walked into a 3D printing store because I was lost and I asked for directions. And we got to talking, and they said, I was asking like, whoa, what is the material that you use for the printer? And they said, oh, it's PLA. And I go, oh yeah, polylactic acid. And they go, how do you know this? I go, well, monofilament is I've been working in the fishing industry, fixing fishing reels for the last 6 years, thinking it's a dead end job, but I really loved it. And, I learned a lot from it. And they go, well, that's all we use for our prototyping and our 3D printing. Do you want a job here? So it's like, all right. So I called the company back home. I may be here a little longer than expected. And yeah, was working for a company, 3D printing robots for the last 5 years. And now I work for Barclays Bank, setting up a lab in the Olympic Park. And it's Barclays Eagle Labs, where we're helping companies prototype and make things. So yeah, it's from one career that looks like it has nothing to do with the future and a lot of technology. You'd be surprised of how they weave together.
People might remember you from your Robo Savvy days.
Was on The Apprentice for that for one episode. They tried to sell us some robots, and we had to show them that those aren't robots. They're a little drone. If you want to see some robots, here's some robots. Yes. But for the video, which ties us together, while working for the fishing store, I wanted to take a couple video classes, and I love video. People are asking, why are you doing this? Are you going to be an editor? No, I want to make stuff. And I also enjoy filming it. And, this is 2010. No, there wasn't really a big thing. YouTube had been around for a couple of years, but it wasn't really a thing to be a maker on YouTube. But I just loved making odd stuff and 3D printing things and building and the video editing process. So I'm doing this video stuff, and I realize if you can be weird and on the street and people will think you're weird, but if you're weird and you have a camera, oh yeah, people forgive you and you can do whatever you want. Yeah. So any projects like this that you show off to say, oh yeah, it's a Johnny Depp shot glass holder. They go, oh, that's weird.
When you described what you wanted to make when you were coming up here, I was thought, I did it. What?
But then if you say, oh, I'm putting it on YouTube because I'm a YouTuber. Oh, okay, fine.
Come on up to Charlie. I'm glad to have you if there's a video in it.
So yeah, then we did a lot of conventions, Workbench Con. I've been doing that for the last couple of years in Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia. And that got us in because with the robotics company, RoboSavvy, we were with a lot of other companies, Inventables, the X-Carve CNC company, Gorilla Glue, Dremel, all these kind of companies. And then Maker Central came about. So like the maker community has always been there for me. Being on YouTube wasn't about making, kind of getting into the YouTuber world. It was more about making stuff and just getting in with the community. It was nothing to do with, trying to become famous, because I'm not. Yeah. But then went, I did that for quite a while and realized, what, it's fun. With this Barclays job, I'm back on. I need to get editing. I've got 5 videos in the can, so I haven't posted in like 2 weeks. I like to post every week. but they're not projects that you're probably going to find. I 3D printed my tonsil as the first video because they wouldn't take out my tonsils. So I said, all right, I want my tonsils removed. I 3D printed them, slammed them on the doctor's desk. And he goes, if you're crazy enough to 3D print your tonsils, then we'll take them out. So I knew, all right, maybe this is the route to go. So that's been kind of, and we met at Maker Central 2 years ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Over 2 years ago.
In fact, as we walked into the hall on the Friday when we got there 2 years ago, to drop off our stuff, and so it was like build day, and the first person we spoke to was Joe.
Yeah.
Joe came over and we did the blind high five, and it's like, and me, being this huge fan of America, it's like, what, an American, whoa, high five, how you doing, man? It's like, oh, wow. It's like, I was in enjoyment overload from that moment, and it's like, and we've been friends since, and we met him, obviously, he was at Maker Central this year, and you were Dremel.
And you helped me with the tree project, the Christmas tree project that we donated to charity.
So, we've been in touch a few times since Makers, and we've been trying to thrash out dates. And Joe, in his ultimate wisdom, knew he needed more than just a one-day visit to get this project licked. And, we've been out, we've had a drive around, and we've been to the local tea shop, tea shop. So it's been a great bank holiday weekend, and
we saw the artisans today at local community. That was nice to see all that. We didn't find a shot glass there that we wanted.
No.
But we can find some shot glasses everywhere. I have a couple at home, but it would be nice to have an artisan make one.
Yeah.
So if anyone's out there that can make a shot glass in a week.
It has to be hand blown though.
Right, so we've got Martin from Huddersfield. Hi Martin. Dave the Wood Barber says, with all that, where do you find the time to do personal projects?
By coming to Chorley.
Yeah, getting a weekend out.
Yeah.
The nice thing about these jobs are, with prototyping, I need to learn how these machines work. I need to learn how what other tools and things we'll need. So I get to test the 3D printers on, my projects, because you can either download free files from Thingiverse, or what I like to do is design at night. So now I have a file, an STL file is what the computer reads. And then that morning, to print something, just to test all the printers and the motors and everything, I print my file.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one way to try to weave it in. With Barclays maker space, they also want me to do videos, and we want to show how-to videos, which is great. But there is a lot more on the editing side of time. So I'm wanting to keep up on the YouTube life. I don't know if it's going to be every week. I'll try. But yeah, it's like this whole weekend was us making the project and filming it. And we've got 2.5 days worth of footage, great stuff in there, but I don't want to show 2.5 days worth of footage on video.
Yeah.
I want to slim it down to
10 minutes.
Good 5-10 minutes. So as fun as this project is,
You're dreading that part.
But yeah, good question. It's I guess we make time for what we want and what we do, rather than finding time.
Well, it's kind of been thinking laterally like you're doing. If you've got to print something, you may as well print something that has a purpose, rather than just, you could be printing the same thing every day just because you needed something to print. But
right.
to do something that at least is useful, that's a great way of incorporating the two.
Yeah. And we don't want to just print for printing's sake. We want to have a functional piece.
Yeah.
That was one of the things against 3D printing was, it's just there to make trinkets and paperweights when they first came out, because there were so many things that were already created.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, great, I don't need to worry about how to CAD. Oh, I'll just download and print. It's like, that's fine if that's the exact item that you want. But if you need a, lever for some tool, and, it's got to be a specific dimension, then you're not going to probably find it on any free website. So design it yourself and make for that, which is kind of what they're there for. It's just another tool in the workshop.
Yeah.
Same with CNC machines, same with laser cutters, which we all have at the labs. And they're great tools, but a lot of people come in, they're real excited just to use one tool when a hammer and a saw. How much tech did we need for this? And this is what
actually,
you can't get printing for this project.
You have used the saw today. Yeah, we parted. We mounted the resin onto a glue block, a glue chuck,
which was interesting for me because I've never seen how to mount. Most wood turners, that's the boring beginning part. We couldn't
be doing it any other way. So Joe parted a little way in, and then he used the Japanese saw, which has got a nice fine tooth on it, and he just took 15 minutes to carefully saw through, so it was as straight and as flat as we could. You just squared it off for a couple of minutes on the belt sander, and we're good to go.
But also seeing the chuck for the bottom part of the wood and how that has specific diameter for how that chuck fits in. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because if those jaws, the more the jaws expand,
right, the
less of the jaw is in contact. So there's gaps between each jaw.
Sure.
So that's getting unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
So, jaw to spigot or mortise fit is quite critical. Otherwise, you can have work flying off left, right, and centre. So that was one area where I helped.
Yeah.
Just because you'd never done that, and I wanted to make sure that we got the dovetail right for mounting it on the jaw. So I just stepped in for a minute. So I put for the mortise, I did the first cut with the parting tool at the angle that I know, and then you hogged out the rest of the mortise, again using the parting tool, which you liked doing it that way.
And being your apprentice, it's only a couple £1,000 a day that I owe. What's my rate? We've got I mean, it's really affordable to anybody out there. Chris is
Joe was just single-handedly put off everybody from ever wanting to study here. So it's been great, absolutely great. And I've really just studied in the workshop and just been listening and just saying, no, right, stop there and do this, and right, you grab that and use that, and right, you hold this way, and you stand that way, and move your body a bit when you're putting the radius on the top of the resin. Move your body, don't stand there stiff and you listen to everything straight away. And it's paid dividends because, like I say, no accidents, no catches, no problems, job done.
Well, what I want to capture in hopefully my side of the video, the project's great, but I want to capture you in how you move, what you're what other senses you're using at all times, because it's fine for someone like me who's never done any sort of turning work before and how much I'm using my eyes. But for you, for one example, yesterday, one of the paper cloths that I was using to help buff out the end of the resin, we were using it and I dropped it and it went straight on the floor. And there's, the wheel's turning, that's loud. There's another fan in the background, that's loud. And you heard it and you go, don't worry about it. Before it just hit the ground. Don't worry about it. I got another one. And it's like, wow. How can I even explain that on video? I mean, it's
it's sort of like I've been explaining to Joe how, the blind process and work. And, I've been smelling things and hearing things, and Joe's saying, wow, you're sort of like seconds ahead of me. He said, I heard it and I've smelt that, but you're on it. You're so fast. It's like, oh yeah, I smell that and hear that. And, I can, I don't want to segue because this is Joe's.
Well, I'm just glad I wore deodorant. So
yeah. That's right. Yeah. Otherwise I'd have been shouting suggestions from outside of the door.
So
had my respirator on.
Dave the Wood Barber has said I will try and turn you a shot glass out of wood.
So I would love that. However, we had talked about this before as there was in ceramics as well to get a ceramic shot glass, but we want to have it clear. We want to be able to see through it. Through to Johnny Depp.
Yeah, because if we wanted a wooden one, we'd have done one this weekend. We'd have made that.
Thank you.
But yeah, thanks, Dave. Wonderful offer, my friend. But Joe wants it clear so you can see through the glass, into the resin and, to really complement and finish off the piece. Yeah, if we wanted a wooden one, we'd have made one ourselves. But lovely offer. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. I'm just going to say hello to Leona.
Hi, Leona.
Hope you've all had a really great weekend over in Ireland. I had a quick look at some of the pictures and video, and I saw a bit of you, Val. But yeah, it sounded great. So I hope you've had a good time. I'd also just like to mention we're going to do the gate crash at the end of the podcast. So if anybody wants to gate crash, I'll be opening that up towards the end. So I don't know, Leon, if you fancy coming on and telling us about the weekend, but there you go.
But we're gonna do this as sort of like a new regular feature. We're gonna initiate gate crash. So if you want to jump on, let us know. We'll send you the link for the software that Nicola's using, and that's it. And you can gate crash, and that's towards the end of the podcast, so you can gate crash and have the last 15-20 minutes to tell us what you've been up to. Anything. Tell us anything.
So, Joe, you were talking about Chris and being blind. What have you learned about him as a blind man this weekend?
That to have a clean shop is essential, even as much of a mess as I made in it. Just because
you wouldn't believe. It's like a haunted house. The ribbons of resin that are strewn everywhere, and we've been bringing them into the house, and they've been clinging to us. We've done a fair bit of mess in there, but I'll get it sorted.
And how it's great because I don't need to move anything. He gets to clean up after me because he knows where he's going to put it. As he showed me when I first came in, he put a blindfold on me, and we were just talking, and he's like, "Okay, you feel that kind of sense of like a little panic?" Yeah, and I was panicking the whole time, really, because I know that there, was a table saw and a bandsaw and some lathes and everything around, but I'm thinking like, how far away were they? How big was the room? Like I kept my hands kind of in, and I don't want to like lean on anything. And it felt like, a long time. And he's like, okay, after we spoke for a while, it was just 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm like, whoa, like I realize how important the mind map that you were talking about of where you put things. You're always thinking where someone, who just sets something down doesn't need to care which way the blade is. Is the blade on the left or the right? Nah, do you even think about it? No, probably not. But you're thinking, you're also, while you're setting something down and remembering where that is, you're also predicting the next path of where you're going, what you're going to do. The last 10, 15 minutes of this project was art in motion of watching you move around, grabbing a drill, unscrewing the screws in the chuck at the same time. There
was one screw though that I couldn't for the life of me find there. I'm thinking, bugger it, and what I do is I feel for the screw head and then sort of like locate the driver bit and just sort of like feel. But there was this one screw and I could not feel the screw head and it wasn't locating. So I thought, oh well, you are blind. I got 5 out of 6 screws straight off. So
hey, I still stripped those out anyways, and you didn't even strip the head of the screw.
Well, that's why I use Torx head screws now because they're much more forgiving than Posi Drive and Phillips.
But yeah, seeing how the human mind can retain so much and remember was amazing. I mean, I hope my brain's half as good in 10 years.
It will be.
So yeah, great shop. 4 times as big as mine. So I'll take the size as well.
So we always ask everybody who comes on the podcast, why do you make?
I make because I have to. I don't have a choice. Like I need to. If so, our family went to Hawaii, and my brothers, they played golf for a couple days, and the basketball, the NBA playoffs were on, so they were like watching that. After like 2 days, 3 days, I have to do something. So I got my scuba diving certificate. Like, and that's a 3-day kind of 4-day intense time, especially when they say like, oh, you can't do it. Like that fight. Oh, I love the fight. When you can't work in Europe. All right, fine. Watch me. I got this Italian passport. I will get a job in London. Went to 166 companies as well before that 3D printing company, and brought in a wine bottle resume. I grew up on working for my uncle's vineyard in Portland as well. And I had a wine bottle and filled it with a bunch of stuff that kind of like symbolized me. And what that was were nails, a hammer, a little mini hammer, some little mini cowboy boots, all that kind of Western fun stuff. But ever since my youngest days, I can remember having a hammer. My dad was real nice and let me work in the workshop when I was really young, when some parents, only let their kids play with Legos. I got hand saws, and I got to build go-karts that were horrible. My poor brothers had to like push me up the hill. And then when, of course, the go-kart wheels would burn out or something like that, I'd take my anger out on them. Oh, you guys need to push me back down the hill, and they were really great about it. But I was always making. I can't sit still. On an island vacation's great for a couple days on the beach, but I carry fingernail clippers with me just to like, tweak some screw heads and fix things in the hotel room and, whatever I can get. If I don't have my Leatherman on me, I'll find a piece of metal where I can, fix some stuff. So it's just how my brain works. It's how I relax.
It was interesting. Last night we spoke to Joe's mum and dad via a FaceTime in Portland, Oregon. And Joe's mum even said to him, have you got your Leatherman? Have you been able to fix anything for Chris?
Well, there's nothing in this house I can fix. You've got it better than mine.
But yeah, that just ties in with what you said. Joe and his Leatherman go everywhere, just in case something starts to get the wobbles, he can just nip it up. But that's the engineering, the maker and the geek in you, isn't it?
That's it. I mean, my dad's the engineer, my mom's the social butterfly. So you combine those two and you get a wild YouTuber 3D printing robots. So that's
I say this every week, but I find it so fascinating that when we ask the question, why do you make, people say pretty much they're compelled to. People say pretty much the same thing, don't they? In slightly different ways, but it's sort of that compulsion to actually make. It's like it's a drive. It's really interesting that people's pretty much everybody said the same thing, haven't they?
Yeah, to even just to play video games, I couldn't do it. If like someone's version of relaxing is, and don't get me wrong, like I enjoy watching YouTube. We don't even have a working television in our house, just because I have YouTube, Netflix, and the radio. And the radio you want to make while you're listening to the radio. So it's you get a lot more done turning off that TV. And YouTube is really just maker channels. Sports as well. I enjoy sports. American football, although I'm glad I've never played it. Basketball, I love. But now that living over here, I can watch the YouTube highlights of basketball. And for me, it's those last 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So that way I don't have to waste an hour and a half for the first part.
Who's the football team that you follow?
Green Bay Packers. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, and what did you forget to bring here this weekend?
My Green Bay Packers slippers. I didn't know we were a slipper-friendly household.
And he kept saying, damn it, I should have brought me some Green Bay Packers slippers.
I've got 2 pairs.
You could have brought a pair and just left it.
I should have.
The next time you can. So Green Bay Packers there. That's Joe's team.
My dad's from Wisconsin, so we've got the Cheesehead, nation over there, and then Portland Trailblazers for basketball.
Right.
So that's that's kind of the teams that I like. But we look at it, and the maker community, for being at like Maker Central and other events like this, you guys are all my heroes, really. Like, it's not actors or athletes. It's meeting all these other people that are creating something out of nothing. It's these ideas that it's like there's no billion-dollar franchise behind us. We're just,
I know,
we're our own entrepreneurs, and
I get that. We can meet our maker heroes and say, you know what, I'd like to have a crack at that. There's no way on this earth that you could watch your Green Bay Packers and go, you know what?
Yeah, I could do that.
I could do that and survive. It's
a
great.
good point.
Like you just said, you can meet your maker heroes and think, I could actually do that.
Yeah.
So that's how I justify it right here.
Yeah.
He's my quarterback.
How would that go? Left a bit, right a bit, straight on. Oh,
throw it.
So, talking about the maker community, what has the maker community given you?
Oh, the confidence to fail. It's okay to make a horrible project. Also, the whole idea of like punk movement, of like, it doesn't need to be pretty and perfect. This will be that because it's with you guys. But some of my stuff, it's just to experiment and throw out an idea, put it on YouTube, and for the most part, the people that I know that are the maker community go, oh yeah, cool idea, or they see that little spark that they could spin off into something. If you do like a Shoshugibon kind of finish, the project may be not what they're looking for, not some ugly lampshade, but if that little idea of like, oh, I can burn something and give it like character, that's cool. Now I learned something and I can do it to a project that I didn't even know about. So yeah, the kind of like the friendliness and openness of that maker community has made it like giving me so many ideas. And at all these events, there's no ego with them. We've done some other events with a lot of TV and there's big personalities when you're talking large corporations and large television productions, and in the end of the day, you're all humans. And at the maker fairs, nobody's thinking they're above everybody else. They're actually genuinely curious and like who you are, what you're doing. What's really surprising is they're not social media and putting phones in front of everyone's faces. They're being real friendly and nice about like, oh, we need to have like courtesy of like, oh yeah, this is just another person. Famous people, they have paparazzi problems.
Yeah.
Maker fairs, nobody really has their camera out. Nobody has their phone out. Nobody's being inconsiderate or rude or anything. And they ask like, oh, after a while, once we know everyone, let's take a picture.
Yeah.
You don't go up to someone, take a picture, and then walk off.
Yeah.
It's, if you even take a picture at all, it's more about like, oh, I remember these people. Yeah, we had a pint together, So yeah, the maker community, it's
cool.
Given me so much.
So tell us what you love to make.
I mean, have you seen my channel? It's weird stuff. So
also
stuff that will not be a hit. I know it. So Paul Jackman from Jackman Works as a 3D printed merman. That's not going to be a famous searched for topic. But I've met him for a couple years now, and we've got along great every single time, and we just have a blast. And I was like, you know what? It's an inside joke, basically, but I can show off what different types of 3D printers do. I can show off some CNC work that I do. And I can show off his reaction because I know it's not just, oh, here's like another like fan art kind of thing. It's friends showing, the world kind of like inside their, their little friend joke. So weird projects that are going to be, not the norm. 3D printed tonsils, Pirates of the Caribbean inside resin. What else have I done? Functional stuff.
The shark parts.
Oh yeah, 3D printed shark stuff for a Shark Week cake with Renee Romeo.
Yeah.
So for Shark Week, she made a shark cake, but at Workbench Con, she goes, "Wouldn't it be cool for we could collaborate and you could 3D print some stuff inside of it?" So, oh yeah, cool. So I'll 3D print the Jaws license plate, and she can pour a chocolate mold in it, some hands, some a little octopus, and a shoe, and all this other kind of stuff that it's more an excuse to show what these machines are capable of and what you can do, and where your ideas can take you, rather than how to make a bed frame. There's many other people that are better at it than I am. So I would want to show the fun, creative side of what you can make that you probably wouldn't see in the manual or the brochure of what you can be done, and probably functional stuff as well. So a light cover that is 3D printed to match the other light cover that was missing. A knob for a dishwasher that you need. A type of wrench that fits into a certain tight space in the back of your sink to tighten up the bolt to hold your faucet tap down. Stuff that you're going to be able to actually use, but at the same time, I love Halloween, so Halloween props.
Now we're talking.
We can get some zombies actually growing out of the ground. We've had a witch fall into the backyard splatter on the brick wall. The Shining. So take a saw, chop up a door, and 3D print an axe head, which is now here. To have a Jack Nicholson Shining coming through your door. So that's a fun project that most people who have a 3D printer, a saw, or a door wouldn't really come up with. So it's just a good excuse to keep having fun.
Yeah. So what sorts of things are you going to be doing? What other things do you want to do over the next few months?
Yeah, I have a couple projects that I want to do regarding laser cutters, get more into laser cutting, and a lot of vinyl. So stickers, but also T-shirts.
Right.
Because I now have access to these machines. 3D printing, yes. For my scuba diving trip, I went to Sardinia a couple weeks ago, and I made a key ring holder for them for one of their keys, and also I'm going to 3D print them a lighthouse as a napkin holder. So their napkin holder was a lighthouse, and the top broke off. I took all these pictures. They didn't know what I was doing, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll 3D print it for you," and they're just like, "What is this? What does this mean?" So showing them what CAD is, and making things for people. I do have some ideas for if you want to really get the viral famous video. Yeah, you can. I don't know. I'm torn between doing the computer games, 3D printing a famous TV character, Pickle Rick or something like this, but I don't want to be known as just the 3D character printing guy. I want to just be. I'm fine with having my channel being kind of a one-off, one-off kind of thing.
I would have said from what we've learned about you this weekend and all the things that you've done, and as your mum said, I thought your mum said it really well. She said you marched to the beat of your own drum.
That was just her being nice.
But I think that's a unique attribute, and throughout your life, if you carry on doing that, you'll do some amazing stuff. And
we've got proof right here, Chris. So
I just definitely march to the beat of my own drum. Always have, always will.
I mean, I think that's what all of us. I mean, who would, in their right mind, be compelled to film something that maybe isn't even that great, and they know it's not that great, but it's something that they did,
Yeah.
and they're good at, and share it with the world.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a normal thing to even be open to like criticism of that level. That's like, why would you do that? You know, everyone's trying to like, oh, if I make something, it has to be perfect. It's like, now, man, show the mistakes, show the learning process. I want to, when I see somebody who has a really successful channel now, it's great to go back to their first video, and you're going, oh yeah, they were like not that polished and perfect like they are now, and they don't have that personality of. It took them a while to find their own, you know, rhythm and find their voice and everything. Yeah. So it's
an evolution, isn't it?
It is.
And you know, I'm sure. Well, Jimmy said to you, hasn't he, that the whole thing it's taken time, and you know, he had to start where everybody else starts.
Yeah, no need to rush it. No need to rush it. Everyone looks at the person who's in first, and they're thinking, oh, I need to get to that place. How do I get to that place that quickly? And it's like, whoa, the rate at what you're learning right now is much more because you're learning from those people who've done really well. Yeah. And, you know, you don't need to worry about the mistakes as much. Don't, you know, don't let them keep you up at night.
And I think sometimes, I mean, my stuff's different to what you two do, but I think it's interesting to find somebody who's maybe a bit ahead of you, but they're doing something similar to what you want to do.
Sure.
And you can go, well, actually what I'm trying to do, it is possible.
Yeah.
And they've kind of gone that route before me. But they're not like, you know, a mega big YouTuber, but you know, they're doing well and they're growing. And I think that's quite a nice place to be as well, because it's a bit more real.
Right.
You know, if you look at, say, the likes of Jimmy or Colin Furze, who's got 8 million subscribers, and you know, they've already gone that massive journey. They're kind of so far ahead.
I mean, I'm never going to be PewDiePie, who has 98 million subscribers. I don't want to be that. Like that's not what I'm even looking for. Yeah. You know, if you want to play the numbers game, if that's really what you're basing it off of, you're never going to be able to find that viral video. I mean, a lot of my friends, you know, we were friends before the big hit came, and I would ask them, like, what is it like having, you know, a 10 million viewed video when your views are, you know, 1,000, 2,000? And they were like, you're never prepared for it, and you're trying to recapture that again, but you can't. You know, and so either you recapture it in a whole different way, and you know, don't bother trying to do the same thing because that's boring, and people are going to see that, people are going to sense that, and so you can't fake it. It's like, just put what you have out there, be yourself, and if it does well, you know, if it's a resin guitar that is made out of crayons, you know, or pencils, it's like, who could predict that would be a viral video? But then the next videos, they don't do that well. Well, it's like, don't worry about it. Like, that guy enjoys making these instruments and these videos. So that's what the priority is. If you're always trying to hold it up some number, you're always going to be let down. There's someone who's going to be, you know, double your number no matter what. And it's going to hold you back from why you got into it in the first place. So yeah, just when it comes, wow, be amazed and be thankful and remember how hard it was to get there, but then build on that. Kind of don't look back.
Yeah. Well, we like your channel because we said, didn't we? It's quite funky, but you're very upbeat and jolly and dynamic, and and you know, that having that variety of stuff that you've done, it's interesting. And
and the videos that Joe makes, you know, they are interesting, and you know, there's the technical element, and also there's the fun and wacky element. But you know, Joe's done some great videos where he's been on location, you know, and gone to visit someone that's got this sort of printer and that sort of printer, and this printer uses a different technique to that one. And I mean, like the powder 3D printers, you know, without getting too technical, and that's me saying I haven't got a clue what I'm on about.
Well, we did learn a lot, didn't we? Because I said something to you the other day that we picked up on one of the videos.
Yeah.
So we were educated.
And, you know, 3D printers do sound amazing, and I think Nicola would really, really love to have one and use one. I'd love to have one, but you know, I obviously couldn't, you know, design and do CAD. You know, what I would have to do is, if I ever had the money to get one, I would be one of these. Well, that sounds like a fun file. Let's download that, and you know, let's build this plastic hammer that goes hick it, hick it, hick it. You know,
that could be done.
You know, like you used to have as a kid, them rubber hammers that you hit someone. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. So Joe's channel is you learn a lot and you have a bit of a giggle, and then you think, he smoked some bad granola. Like when he said, "Oh yeah, I'm bringing up this huge blob of resin that's got Johnny Depp in it and a treasure chest."
It does look amazing, though. I mean, it looks very nice on my desk.
It actually, yeah. I mean,
You know.
I mean, this is a lot of Chris's credit, but that's pretty beautiful. I mean, this has turned out better than I thought. And
you know, I thought of all things to turn for your first time on a lathe, a huge chunk of bloody resin,
and also something that had to be absolutely right as well.
Yeah,
right.
You know, it was
Our
like
tolerances were pretty tight on this.
Yeah.
These were
yeah. You know, we literally had, you know, half a millimeter to play with, you know, before we'd have gone in. And broken through, you know, some of the resin and hit some of the 3D printed items and possibly just trash them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's you know, like the 18. I love it when a plan comes together.
I mean, it's quite magical, really.
Go
It's
big
a
or
bit
go
like-
home,
it's-
right?
Yeah, it's a bit like snow globes.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you said that initially to me. It's like a snow globe. This idea of I want it to be like a snow globe and things. And I thought, huge block of resin with a load of stuff in it. And then Joe sort of like slotted into the conversation yesterday. You know, this is actually quite old resin. I don't, you know, I've had it a long time. So, and when he released it from the mold yesterday, the bottom still hadn't cured and it was tacky. And I'm thinking,
what have I got myself into with this guy?
I'm thinking, you know, it's not even cured, this resin. And he's going to mount it to the lathe and he's going to be turning it. And it's the first thing he's ever turned. You know, we've got to sand and polish this, you know, to like 12,000, you know, and burnish it. And I'm thinking, oh God, yeah, exactly. Go big or go home. So for his first project, he's done amazingly well, and I have to say, you know, he's learned a lot, and he's capable of being a great turner because you know
that's high praise.
You know, because he listens so well, and you know, because he's a maker at heart, and he's very passionate about things he makes. He has got the potential. You've got the potential to do anything you want to do, like everyone has, and that's the message we keep getting over. Everyone listening, you are all geniuses. Embrace that and never forget it. And you know, just keep telling yourself, I can do anything I want, absolutely anything. It takes time. You've got to put the time in. And we've said this before. You know, it's not going to be handed to you on a plate, but you can do it.
And there's no rush. There's no rush with this. It was like the minute you rush it, you're going to chip something, you're going to gouge something. And like you were saying, you know, listen to what it's saying to you. And it's like more than just, you know, see what you're doing, listen to it, because that's like a two-way conversation then. Rather than if you're watching, you're observing, it's not, you know, observing back. But if it's making a sound, you're hearing it, and you can adjust, you can adapt. You would hear things before I would see it.
Yeah. So a classic example was just as we're getting to the end of the project, and we were turning the palisander. You know, I could hear that there was some vibration, and the harmonics were saying to me, the tool rest isn't at the right height. So, you know, and I had my back to Joe because I was feeling for some abrasive. And, you know, this sound just said to me, tool rest height. So I just, stop the lathe set. So I said, yeah, right. And I raised it. And I said, how's that? And he went, yeah, much better.
Right.
You know, so.
I mean, it's magical.
So tell us something that the maker community doesn't know about you.
boy.
I would imagine there's quite a long list, really.
I got first at the shotgun shooting, and I'm an Eagle Scout, so I got shotgun shooting merit badge, and I hit 24 pigeons in a row. So I'm a pretty good shotgun shooter without knowing it. And I like pub trivia. I love a quiz, a pub quiz. I know all my presidents in order, and that was handy. It was a road trip where we were just watching Adam Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adam Jackson. I went all the way down the line.
Carry on.
You've
started it.
How many are there? 46?
45?
45.
I think.
We believe you.
Yeah, I may be wrong. And yeah, so I love like odd trivia, just kind of like odd projects, odd trivia. What else about me that I haven't revealed? Because I'm an open book, but what else have I revealed? I like black socks. My dad, this is a quick fun story. When I was really young, I got a Christmas gift as black socks. And I was like, oh, cool. So the next year at school, it was freshman year of high school. I was like Joe Kirchman, that guy who wears black socks in like PE class and everything. So I was wearing black socks for a while, a couple months. My dad, I asked him, he goes, what do you want for Christmas? And the next year I was like, more black socks. He goes, oh, those are going to give you cancer of the foot. I go, what? He goes, oh yeah, the ink from the socks will seep into your foot and you'll have to amputate your feet. Oh, okay. So my mom had actually bought me black socks, and I had switched. I got white socks, and because mom bought me black socks, and I was like, no, I'm get white socks now. So I got white socks, and like my name and reputation is like, oh yeah, Joe, he's kind of different. He wears black socks. That went out the window, and I'm just like everybody else now, wearing white socks. And a couple years go by, and mom bought me black socks for a gift or something. And I go, oh, mom, you're going to have to return these back to the store. And she's like, why? I go, well, black socks, cancer of the foot. She goes, what? I go, yeah, the ink goes on your feet and I have to amputate your feet off. She goes, who told you that? I was like, Dad. She's like, it's not true. And my dad's just sitting there laughing. It's like he could pull a joke for years watching me ruin my reputation. So I was like, all right, fine, Dad. I'm going to throw this back in your face. I'm going to only wear black socks from now on. So who knows? They probably do have some sort of cancer thing. But yeah, I dig black socks. Black socks, Carhartts, and T-shirts. Yeah. And I don't shave all the way. I always keep a little scruff. I'm never going to take a job where I have to shave all the way.
Yeah.
I want to have a little bit of that maker beard, more than 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
That's right. That's right.
So, tell everybody where they can find you.
I mainly do Instagram, Joe Makes, YouTube, Joe Makes. I've changed my name from Joe Kirchman to Joe Makes because KRCMA is too difficult to yell and try to figure out in a loud pace. K or what?
You were Joe Kretschmer for a long time. That Joe Kretschmer, whatever his name is.
So Joe Makes YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, but I don't use it as much.
Yeah.
And at the Eagle Labs in the Olympic Village. We've got a lab opening in late September, early October. So we're gonna have some fun things there, some fun workshops to make stuff.
Is it the lab that you're developing? Is that something that anybody can get in touch and come and do a class there? It's not just a walking off the streets kind of place.
No, you have to sign up for it before. But we will have openings if you're curious about programming with Arduinos all the way to hardware of laser cutters, and if you have a prototype for your own company, we do one-on-one prototyping and showing how to bring your idea to life. And we're only a prototyping company. We don't make final products or code. So it's just the prototyping part. But it's a good way to, meet the community as well with a bunch of other members that may have some ideas, and we can also put you in touch with other people once your idea is kind of fleshed out and you want to like bring it to market, or you want to make a business out of it, or realize this is just a fun side thing and I'd love to share it with a bunch of other people. We'd love to have like minds, from people creating a Batmobile. We've got a guy who's making his own customized Batmobile in his bedroom. To people reinventing a small little sensor for seeing if you're gonna have a seizure if you're epileptic. So yeah, we have a lot of interesting things in the works.
Cool.
And there's an Eagle Labs in Manchester as well.
Yeah, we have 20, going to be 25 all around the UK.
Right.
And yeah, looking to just kind of branch out and help the community with projects and ideas.
Cool.
So
Yeah, and of course the Barclays logo incorporates that eagle.
Yeah.
It's not the American eagle. It's not that bald eagle.
No, no, it's the British
Close,
eagle.
but no cigar.
Yeah, it's the British eagle that is seldom found these days.
Well, I think we've come to the end of Maker Monday.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
It ain't so,
I
Joe.
don't want the projects to end. I might have to just
Well,
drop
you
this and scratch it, and then have to
Don't
go back
go
out.
But yeah, we normally say to people, feel free to hang around and chip in.
Yeah, feel free to hang around and chip in. But thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for spending the weekend with us. We've had a lot of fun. And we've
it's going to give us lots to talk about for the next few weeks.
Yeah, so I'm going to be trying to talk with
an American
accent. I've been going around, and please, this is not, I'm not trying to upset anyone. But, for the few days preceding Joe's visit, I've been calling everything a goddamn son bitch, and you goddamn slow poke, I ain't gonna put my goddamn. So I've been talking like that. So Nicola's pretty much ready to divorce me now. We nearly made it to a year. So yeah. So Nicola thinks, oh my God, when Joe goes,
I know.
Well, if you need a place to crash, you can come on into London, and I've got a couch.
Yeah. So if I get kicked out, I'm off to the big city.
Well, I want to thank you guys for the best 3-day weekend that I needed. A relaxing trip out into the countryside, seeing some really cool artisans and makers this morning. Yesterday, turning and learning and burning with all of this stuff.
Yeah,
It was
done lots of turning.
It was a blast. We've still got shavings all over us.
Nicola said Joe's still got a dirty face.
Yeah, he's
from
got some stain down this side and some on his ear as well.
Might keep these as part of the scruff, But yeah, you guys have been the best hosts I could have ever asked for, and even greater friends. It's been great to see this friendship evolve from that first encounter.
Come on, let's do it.
Done.
There you go.
For those of you that didn't hear, that was how a blind high five goes, where you purposefully miss.
Yeah.
So thank you again
you're
for everything.
welcome.
This is and to now say that I've had a wood turning session, and now from the Chris of RPT.
More resin. And I think the RPT, the R stands for resin.
Resin professional turner.
So,
that's right. So I can say I knew you guys win. So
it's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I was able to help you get your project done and get it off to your friend for a wedding. And I'm sure she's going to have lots of shots.
She's going to love that.
Yeah, she needs to.
Drink up.
The honor it deserves by having lots of shots. Whatever a drink of choice may be.
I mean, it's too nice to have any alcohol spill on it, though. I wouldn't want
to wipe clean. I mean, it's polished to such a high level that the alcohol will just glide off it.
Well, thank you guys again for so much. This has been a blast. And
cheers,
if you're ever in London, please let's make something.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll be straight into Eagle Labs and blow up some machines.
So then, Christopher.
Yes, sir.
What have we done this week?
Can't remember anything about the past week. It's just all been a blur since Joe turned up. I've just been living this pseudo-American life. It's like really, really amazing. No, we've done
Did Wigan Woodcrafts on Monday.
Yeah, Wigan Woodcraft on last Monday. That was a great little demo. And I did a little elm bowl, power carved it, did some embellishing. And the guys really, really loved it. It was a full house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really. And we got there in plenty of time, had a great relaxed setup. And there was a mixture of advanced, intermediate, and newbies in there. So it went really well. And at the intermission, they were all coming over and saying, that's amazing. And, can we have a look? And then when we'd finished and we were tidying up,
they kept it.
They said, can we keep that bowl? Can we please have it? And we'll raffle it off for charity. But yeah, the response was amazing and they were absolutely gobsmacked. And yeah, it was really good, positive feedback. Yeah. It was a great show and also friendly. And yeah, it was a great night. So, and with it being a relatively sort of like local demo, we weren't back, horrendously late, were we? So
it was in Wigan.
Oh,
we went near Wigan today. Yeah.
So no, it was a great demo. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then we did some filming on Wednesday.
Yes, we did. So that's an upcoming video.
Yeah.
And that was I filmed another Maker Mini.
Yes.
Because of the positive feedback I had for the first one. I thought, well, let's just quickly fire out another Maker Mini. So stay tuned to find out what that was about. Some, simple, quick hints and tips that I hope you can all use. So that was cool. I'm going to keep stum about that.
Yeah. So Jay Osmond's drumsticks were delivered to him as well.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
The Jay Osmond YouTube video went live on Friday.
The drumstick video. So
yeah.
Sandra that commissioned the drumsticks that knows the Osmonds.
Yeah.
She'd met up with them and handed Jay the sticks, and he said he liked them very much.
Yeah.
But because he's touring and he was in between gigs, he said it might take me a few days to actually, watch the video. But yeah, that's cool. They got delivered safe and sound, presented to Jay Osmond, and they're all engraved. So that was cool.
Yeah.
I've yet to answer and reply to the comments I've had on that video, but obviously we've had Joe here with us, so I'll get round to answering those comments in the next couple of days. But yeah, that was cool.
I've been repotting some of my auriculas, so I've started doing that. I've got at least 100 to do. So I'm basically splitting them where they've got offsets. So I'm going to end up with more than 100 plants. But I started doing that whilst these guys were in the workshop yesterday. So yeah, I've made some good progress with that. We went to the tea room yesterday, so we saw Sally.
We had a lovely. Oh, what did we have? We had Joe and I had.
You had bacon,
brie, carambery.
Carambery.
Yes.
Carambery.
Yes, we had bacon, brie, and carambery. I ordered initially on brown, and Joe went white, and Sally said, "No, it's got to be white bread with bacon." So she was right. So that was really nice. So we did that yesterday. We've taken Bamba to Worden Park. He's had a couple of. Well, he gets taken out every sort of like other day for a free run.
Yeah.
So we'll be taking him again tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we need to give a shout out for Jamie for the t-shirt, the maker quilt. He spoke to you about that.
Yeah. So yeah, what's happening is Hippie Noodle is making a quilt out of makers t-shirts, which sounds pretty funky. So it's for, and this blew my mind, it's going to be for money for the Guide Dogs organization. So that's very, 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 very cool indeed. So yeah, if you go out and check have they got a Facebook or?
I've just put the information on that they did a podcast, Makers International, episode 344, burnout. So they talked about the maker quilt on that. So you can get all the information. We will post about it again as well.
And we need to
send a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be a logo. So you submit your logo t-shirt. So we'll be sending ours as well. But that's the information that I've got. So yeah, we'll try and find out a bit more and share it this week as well on Instagram and IGTV.
Yeah, so I think the t-shirts are going to go to a local haberdashery shop rather than just all get mailed to.
Yeah, there's the address. I've just put the address on. So what is it? Mars Buttons Knit and Sew.
Yeah. Okay.
So next week's podcast is going to be pre-recorded because we're in
Worcester.
Worcester, yeah.
Where?
Worcester.
Worcester. Hey, it's catching. Carambery. We're going to Worcester. So we're going to Worcester.
Worcester.
Yeah.
Is it Worcester or Worcester?
Yeah, it's
Worcestershire.
It's Worcestershire sauce. Oh, here's a thing that you ask Americans to say. Can you say Worcestershire?
No. Worcestershire.
Yeah, that's one word that the Americans struggle with. Worcestershire.
Yeah.
So
Wyndham.
Yeah.
Why don't ham?
So it will be pre-recorded next week, sometime.
Yeah,
so.
and what are we doing in Worcestershire?
Shedfest. So Chris is speaking at
the annual award ceremony.
Men's Sheds.
Yeah, it's not like Men in Sheds. So I've called it Shedfest.
Everything's fest.
Yeah. We've had Joe Fest this week.
Yeah.
So
we had Chest Fest.
yeah, Chestnut
Wood
weekend.
Fest.
Yeah, we've had Joe Fest.
Amber Fest.
Yeah, Nicola Fest. And Chris Fest. Anyway, I digress. Fest. We are going to Worcester. They've asked if I can do a demonstration during the day, and then in the evening, I'm keynote speaker. And so I will be talking to the guys and gals there, and it's a charity really, and it's all about getting people into their workshops, into their garages, into their sheds, making things, feeling good about themselves, keeping the brain going. If they've got physical disabilities, don't let that put you off. Find a way to make the adaptations you need to keep on making. So it's a great thing. So that should be some fun.
Yeah. So that's that. So I think that's everything we've done this week.
Yeah, it's sort of like been a busy week.
We have had a busy week. Seems to have flown by. So let me just open this up to anyone who would like to gate crash for 5 minutes. If you'd like to gate crash.
Well, we'll give you more than 5 minutes.
I wonder if I should pack.
Yeah.
and clean up. Figuring that because we are off to they're being some kind and running me off to the train.
Well, we do
as well.
We do not. No, we don't need to leave till about 8:15.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, if anybody would like to gate crash, just let us know in the comments, and we can add you on to the podcast. It's dead easy. You just basically need a browser, so Chrome or Safari or whatever you use. I just send you a link and you can join.
So don't be shy. Give it a try.
Yeah.
Yes. It doesn't matter if you happen to gate crash and you've been on before. That's cool. If you think, right, I'm going to actually dip my toe and be
if you've done anything interesting this week, or
so come on, let's have a gate crasher. We're waiting.
Nobody's saying anything.
Maybe they're like, oh yeah, Joe needs to clean up. Look at him. He's got stuff all over his face.
He needs to get this stain off his face. So, okay then. So, whilst we're waiting for someone to decide they'd like to gate crash, go on, somebody gate crash. Feeding Jacob. Oh, Andy can't do it. Fred Taylor says t-shirts can be taken to Yandel's weekend and given to Hippie Noodle there.
Not going.
I'll be at Yandel's.
Oh, are you going to Yandel's?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But don't know. It's probably a waste of a middleman here to give it to me, then me mail them up to you again.
That's cool. So, well, have we got anything else to say? Anything else coming up that we're doing?
I can't think. I think. Well, it's getting close now to doing the Sittingbourne.
Yeah, we're doing Sittingbourne. I think it's about the 14th of September. So
yeah, so it's getting close for that huge journey to Sittingbourne in Kent.
The Flaming Turner says he would gate crash, but he's on his phone. I saw your message as well. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you like the tool that Chris sent. That's great. AH Bespoke, Andy, he says, cool, meet you there, Joe.
Sweet.
Do you know Andy?
Yeah.
You know Andy.
We met at Maker Central last year.
T+G making will be at Yandles, but not T-shirts. Cardiff 28th. Yes,
okay,
yeah. So after Sittingbourne, we've got Cardiff and Nuneaton, and then that's the last of the Axminster demos this year. So, yeah, well, if nobody's coming on to Gate Crash, then I think
I can film the tech as well of the garage. I still want to do that.
Oh, right, okay.
Of the tech of what.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm going to do a whole stuff of what you guys don't see from Chris's side on his channel. He's got a whole amazing stuff to somebody who has an outsider's perspective. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, we've had the talking tech out, haven't we? So.
Yeah. So T+G, are you saying join us on the podcast on the 30th? Yeah, that's fine. If you go on to Chris's website, which is christopherfisher.co.uk/podcast, you can have a look at the dates. I think everything's up to date on there, so you can see what's available and just message us. It's all set up to message us, so yeah, just let us know. So right then, well, we shall go because Joe needs to go and pack and still got stuff to do. We need to feed him before he gets on his train.
Oh, you don't need to do
we
that.
need to leave at 8:15. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode and thank you so much for joining us. Not live next week, but we will post something and I'll do the premiere thing again as well. So you'll be able to, we'll probably join in remotely with some comments because we'll probably be having a meal at that point. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.
Bye everyone.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. That's my first podcast I've ever done.